Merhabalar arkadaşlar. Hello guys. I don't know which language should I use. Turkish, İngilizce konuşayım, Türkçe konuşayım. Should I speak Turkish, English? I don't know. I'm gonna speak both languages. So guys, I've been ranting about reading books, benefits of reading every second I get. Because of recent, generally a few months ago, I was improving my Turkish using watching movies. But of recent, I'm improving my Turkish using reading. And there were certain things that I'm doing while I read. I didn't invent these methods. Actually, there is a person you can research about. His name is Jim Quick. He talks about how to read and how to read quickly, speed reading, basically. So some of the tips I'm going to share are from him because I read one of his books. And the others, some of the things I generally do. And some of the questions that my students generally ask when I talk about reading and some of the problems they generally mention. Problem number one is, teacher, when I read, I see so many words that I don't understand. That's number one. Teacher, I cannot, I don't know which books to read. Which books can I read to improve my English? And this is what I generally tell my students. This is what I generally do to improve my Turkish because I'm trying hard to improve my fluency. I don't want to do the grammar books. I just want to improve the language naturally. So let's begin. Let's dive into it. Number one, while you're reading, because before I learned about the speed reading from Jim Quick, this is how I was reading. For example, I open a page and I read uygulamaya genelde en önemli gördüğümüz parçadan başlamalıyız. Because I'm trying to pronounce every word correctly. And many times, this is the mistake I was making. Like, I try to read very slowly so that I pronounce every word in my mind correctly. That's mistake number one. Mistake number two was I try to stop every time I find a new word and check to rank on my phone. And many times I couldn't get through a page. And I was talking to one of my students and he told me he generally takes 1.5 hours to read one page, 1.5 pages. And I told him, how does that happen? But you know, generally when you learn something, you forget the mistakes you were making. Because I had improved the way I was reading, I was like, how does that happen? But now that I remember this is how I used to read, word by word, and this is what he was doing, what he told me. He reads, and then when he finds a word, he tries to wonder, what if I use this word like this? What if I use this word like this? This is good for learning, but it's very slow, which means your brain quickly gets bored of reading, acquiring a language through reading. So how should you read? First of all, according to Jim Quick's reading techniques, while you're reading, you either have a pencil and you point while you read so that you guide your eyes to quickly move through the pages, through the words, through the sentences. If you don't do this, you can use your finger to quickly move through lines, because if you do this and you try to push yourself to read faster, it's going to be a lot easier for your brain to focus. Let me give you an example of if you read slow, what happens in your brain. What happens is you see, if I speak slowly, you quickly get bored and You just don't want to listen anymore. But if somebody reads the way they speak at a normal speed, then your brain is alert. Your brain doesn't tune out. It continues to focus on the book. You don't think of social media. So that's tip number 1. Read using your finger and try to read quickly. Don't read slowly, because in your brain you're thinking, let me pronounce every word correctly. This is not a good thing. So the other tip, I wrote the tips down here in my book. The other thing is, actually I've mentioned it. Do not use the translator, because every time you stop, for example, let's say I'm reading and I see a word I don't understand, I stop, I grab my phone, it's locked, so I have to open, put in the fingerprint, look for the application, find the application, click on the application, type the word. These are so many minutes I'm wasting. If I go back to the book, I don't remember what happened in the beginning. I'm gonna get bored, which means I will not continue. So do not use the translate. You might be thinking, okay, if I don't use the translate, how am I going to learn the words? Good question. Good question. If you don't use the translate, this is how you're going to learn the words. Generally, you have seen the word in a sentence. So the first time you see the word, let's say it's in a group of 10 words. It's a sentence of 10 words. You know the others. There is that one word, you don't know what it means. Your brain, your subconscious, is going to guess. So you will understand the word 10%. And then you go on to the next page, you read, you see the word again. It's going to be with other words in a sentence. Your brain is going to pick up 10%. Next page, next page, next page, next page. And before you know, you understand the word naturally, and you know how to use it because you've seen it used differently on different pages, in different sentences. Maybe it has changed, for example, from the present to the past, different conjugations and something like that. You will understand the word a lot better. You will be able to use it. The other thing is, generally when people try to learn vocabulary, they have a list and they try to write the Turkish meaning, English, Turkish, English. This is not good. Why? Because you don't know how it's used. If you read, your brain is picking up lots of words. So this is something I mentioned in one of the live Instagram chats I made. I finished one book and I didn't feel that my Turkish has improved. And I bought these books. It was a set of 4 books. If you were reading the book, let me know. It was a set of 4 books. I finished the first book last week and I began reading this. But when I began reading this, I understand a little bit more than I understood the first part. Why? Because these books are all around the same topic. They're around the same topic. It means the vocabulary, the terminologies, the language, the structure is all the same. So this one is a lot easier to understand because my Turkish has actually improved. When I speak, maybe it hasn't. Maybe I will not feel it. But after some time, when I get to a situation when, without thinking, I will use these words. I will use, my grammar is gonna improve because I've read the structures and I've learned everything very well. So guys, in short, don't use the Turing, don't use Google Translate. Just read and read and read and read and read and read and continue reading. And before you know, you've learned trillions of words. This is the best way to learn vocabulary, in my opinion. Best way to learn vocabulary and to improve fluency, because you practice the words you know, and you learn knowledge. Reading is gold, guys. Reading is gold. I hope you develop reading strategies. I hope your reading improves. Do not stress if you don't. Last tip. Don't stress if you begin reading a book and you get bored. If you get bored, like I always say, throw away that book. I'm not throwing away this book because I just began reading it and I love it. Kinda. So, if you get bored, throw away the book. Get another book. I'm planning to read some Elif Shafak's books. One of my students recommended Ashk. So, but I have to first finish these because I have a tendency of getting so many books and not reading. So I have to develop a discipline. Some people buy books and they never read them. I don't want you to be that person. Try to read, and when you get bored, maybe get back to it later or throw it away and get another one. Anyways, I'm talking too much again. Guys, goodbye. I hope you have a good reading experience, and these few tips can help you improve your reading a little bit. Even if you improve your reading 10%. 10% if you're reading on a daily basis, 10% by the end of this year, you're going to be very far away. Very far away. These were good tips. I know there are people in the lower levels, so I'm going to make this video in Turkish too, just in case you watched it and you think, I couldn't understand everything. I'm making the video in Turkish too. Maybe I should begin making videos in English and Turkish. Guys, what do you think? Let me know. Goodbye. Take care of yourselves.